Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV. Today we're talking about dealing with the email overload. If you've got it, you want to stay with me. Are you ready? Let's get started. So at the end of every one of these episodes, I say, if you got a question that you want us to talk about in a future episode, you should ask me. Guess what? David did. And so this is for you, David, but it's really not just for David, it's for everybody, because pretty much everyone can recognize the situation. David wanted to know how to deal with the deluge of emails. That's really my words, not his, but he said, hey, I process like 500 emails a week. Do you have any suggestions? Well, let me tell you this. This is something that I've been trying to get better at for a long time, and I get more than 500 a week. But let me tell you that it's something that I know lots of people struggle with. It's something that I've worked on. It's something that I've studied. It's something I've learned some stuff about. So what I want to do is share some of what I've learned over the next few minutes. So here's the thing. I'm going to do this in the form of questions so that you can think about it yourself and then give you some thoughts about each of those questions. Okay? So this is for you, David, and for everybody else. Here's the first question. How many emails are you sending? So here's the thing. At some level, a lot of the emails that you're processing are people responding to you. So the first way to reduce the number of emails that you're dealing with is reduce the number you're sending. How many are you sending? And are you sending them for the right reasons? How many emails are you sending? First question to ask yourself. Second one is, who are you copying? I talk with lots of leaders and lots of organizations who talk about, man, everybody here gets copied on every email. Well, that's a guarantee of more email to process, because especially if you haven't set any expectations with people, a lot of people are going to respond to those emails with an okay, a thanks, a yes, or whatever, and it's like the number has just exploded, and so has your head. So how many people are you copying is an important question to think about. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't copy people. What I'm really saying is if you're copying them, copy them intentionally, copy them with good reason. And the other thing is have some conversations with the people you work with about what your expectations about all this are going to be. Like if if there's nothing you need, if it's just information only, let people know that, and then they know that they don't have to respond. So we can help everybody deal with their overload a little bit by setting some clear expectations around that. All right. Third question is, how are you responding? If you're responding to people's questions with long answers and you're creating a thread of ongoing emails, I will tell you right now, stop. What we do in our team and what everyone that works for me has heard me do is that once one of those emails gets into 2 or 3 in, I'm like, someone call somebody or have a meeting or talk about this, because here's the thing, email, a lot of times in my experience, where the email becomes true overload is that we're trying to have conversations in email. That's not the best use of the tool. If it gets very long, you're way better off to have a conversation with someone. Now I know some people say, well, I want to be able to have a documentation. Okay, have the conversation and then document the outcomes. And maybe that's in an email or maybe that's in a Word document. So think about how you're responding. Is how you're responding adding to your deluge, right? Next question is, when are you responding? Now, I know that there are some of you watching that have a job in customer service, or you have a job in tech support where the nature of your work is the responding to emails. For most of us, that's not really the case. So here's my personal example. I spend a lot of time traveling. I'm with a client, and so I don't answer email for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. And I can tell you that on the days when I am traveling and I don't answer email all day long, I get just as much email, or nearly as much, as I do on other days. And I can tell you that I spend way less time on email on those days that I block the time to do it. When we keep switching back and forth from one task back to email and from one task back to email, we're taking longer to do all of it. So when are you responding? Pick some times in your day when you're going to process most of your email. By putting it together, you'll spend less time at it. That's not reducing the amount of it, but it's reducing the amount of time that it takes, and it's improving your productivity. Now, the last question I have for you is a dangerous one, and maybe you'll even laugh when I ask it. Here's the last question. Are you really reading all of those newsletters? Now, it's dangerous for me to ask that question because I hope you're reading my newsletters and I hope that you'll continue to want to get them. But I also know that a lot of us are getting a lot of email that's not stuff that we're responding to, but it's stuff that we're interested in, that we want to learn from, and all of those things. And those are part of the frustration and part of the overload. So all I'm suggesting is that you be clear and intentional about the ones you're keeping and the ones that you scroll to the bottom on and hit unsubscribe. Not ours, of course, but in all seriousness, it's one of the things to think about. Managing the amount that's showing up is going to help you manage the overload. So hopefully these questions and my thoughts, but really your own answers to those questions, hopefully helps you with your email, dealing with your email overload, and I hope it helps David as well. Let me close with today's tweet. Email is a tool. It isn't your job. Put it in the right perspective and you will accomplish more. So I mentioned a newsletter just a minute ago. And if you don't get our newsletter once a week called Unleashing Your Remarkable Potential, we would love for you to put that in your inbox. Let me tell you this, if you liked this video, if you like this idea of working on your productivity, becoming more personally and professionally successful with tools and tips around leadership and personal development, I hope that you'll choose to join us for one email a week on Monday mornings called Unleashing Your Remarkable Potential. And when you do that, you can get a copy of, when you do that, by clicking on the link that you're going to see here, you get a copy of the ebook that we have called 101 Ways to Unleash Your Potential. It's a cool ebook. It's fun. It's full of graphics and full of a lot of great ideas. So I hope you'll take advantage of that and join us in the future. So I want you to be able to deal with your email, but I'm asking you to add one more to it. Thanks so much for joining me for this week's episode of Remarkable TV. And like David said, like David took action on, here's what I want you to do. If you've got questions or ideas or comments, please share them below. But especially if you've got ideas for future episodes, questions you'd like me to address, put them below in the comments because we're watching and apparently we're taking that advice. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll see you on the next episode of Remarkable TV.